12 NBA players who must improve this upcoming season. Based on the performances these guys had last year or the last few, they're now at the point where if they don't improve, it's gonna start to put a real bad look on their careers. Like for example with Jordan Poole. He had a breakout season 2 years ago, looking like he was gonna be a future star, but he collapsed so badly in these playoffs that the Warriors traded him away. So it's now up to him to come out for the rebuilding Washington Wizards and play like a star. He needs to come out averaging at least 23 points a game in his first time role as a full-time starter. If he comes out for them and doesn't show any signs of improvement with the increase in minutes and responsibility, then we've probably seen the best we're gonna from Jordan Poole. But if he does play a lot better and can lead a team to wins, then he may be an all-star one day. It's interesting though, because on one hand he's a 43% scorer from the field and about 35% from 3, and a guy that takes a lot of shots and has a lot of turnovers. I would bet money that that doesn't lead to being a star. But then again, on the other hand, you have a guy like Paul George who's come out and said, given a bigger role on a team, Poole would easily be an all-star level player. Listen, but either way, the Warriors gave up on this man and sent him away. So it's all up to him now to make them regret it and save his reputation. Another guy that must get better for next year is Mikal Bridges, for pretty much all the opposite reasons. You see, as we know, Mikal had a breakout year this year, and he doesn't need to prove anyone wrong anymore. He's already done that all of this past season. But all I'm saying is he definitely can't come out in 2023 playing worse. This will be good to prove that he wasn't just having a fluke year and playing that way because people weren't expecting it from him. So if he shows improvements in his game, it'll be a great step towards that. Plus, this will be the first full year as the guy for a team, so if he's going to want to keep that spot, Mikal Bridges will have to step up and be the leader that the Nets need. I think Lamelo Ball also has to show major improvements in the 23 and 24 season. He was hurt all of last year, but now he's got to lead the Charlotte Hornets into the playoffs. He got them close 2 seasons ago, but after signing a $260 million extension, he's got to be able to bring his team to get wins. And to do that, it'll take more of being a facilitator and a scorer. Plus, with bringing back Miles Bridges and adding a guy like Brandon Miller, there's now no excuse as to why it shouldn't be possible. Just in general, when your franchise player is going into his 4th season in the league, it's about that time now that you start seeing winning seasons, and also really get to see what your guy can do in the playoffs. I mean, he called first team All-NBA and MVP, so the pressure's really on now. The pressure's also really on for Bol Bol going into his new role on the Phoenix Suns. The man finally got real minutes on an NBA team this year, and was out on a mission to prove to himself and everyone else that he really belonged in the league, and he got waived at the end of the season. Honestly, Bol's first year actually playing was kinda lackluster, and I think we're at the point now where he's shown that he's not gonna be a real superstar in the NBA one day. But with him signing to the Phoenix Suns, I think now he's just gotta show that he belongs in the league at all. He's really gotta step his game up and prove that he's a valuable player, or he might be out of the NBA in no time. Of course, I'm praying that he does prove himself, but again, we'll see. I think a guy like Keegan Murray is another underrated pick that must improve for this season. While at the same time, I feel like he's one of the players in this video that will most likely take that next step this year. After seeing him have a couple of huge games in that 7-game series against the Warriors, Keegan showed that he's the real deal. The dude was only a rookie and came up big when it mattered most. But he's one of these guys that has to improve not only for his own sake, but for his team's too. He made all-rookie first team last year, so of course he's got to continue stepping up if he wants to continue on the path to being a superstar, while at the same time the Sacramento Kings are really going to rely on him as their starting power forward. His ability to score at will and stretch the floor for Sabonis is a key piece to this team's system. But also, with that said, I have complete faith in Murray. A player in the exact same scenario as Austin Reeves. Of course, throughout the entire year, but especially in the postseason, Reeves stepped up massively. He was the Lakers' 3rd leading scorer during the playoffs. And just like Keegan Murray, his team's gonna be relying on him to play even better next year. And even though he didn't get paid as much as he should have, Reeves got paid as a player that Los Angeles was investing in to get a lot better over the next 4 years, which is why they gave him that contract that was so much in his favor. But speaking of getting paid, that brings us to Fred VanVleet. If this man doesn't come out playing like a god for $40 million a year and with the keys to the Houston Rockets, then they messed up. And it means we've definitely already seen the best we ever will from Fred VanVleet. And I'm hoping that we haven't already seen the best from DeAndre Ayton, but that's what a lot of people are thinking is the case. Draymond Green even said recently that Ayton was trash without CP3. Well, now we're gonna get to see if that's the case or not. We already know that it's a fact that Chris Paul makes players and centers specifically a lot better. Just look at DeAndre Jordan's first team All-NBA appearance. So for one, Ayton must play just as well without the help of Chris Paul, but he also must have the best year of his career now. Himself and his game's been pretty stagnant for the past 3 seasons. He hasn't really developed a ton in his game, and his stats show that to be true. But when playing with 3 of the best straight up scorers in the NBA, he's gonna get a ton of wide open looks, and if he can't capitalize, then there's no hope he'll ever be an all-star in his career. For any other player, being a 4th option on a team with 3 scorers, they'd probably be doomed. But when that 4th option is a center with Ayton's skill set, there couldn't be any of a better scenario for him. Cade Cunningham had an excellent rookie season, and in his sophomore year, he was supposed to show out even further, but a season-ending injury put an end to that. So now 2 entire seasons later, he needs to really have improved his game after an injury like that. It'll take a little bit of time to get used to being back on the floor, but I have faith that Cade will have a breakout year, and it should now be a lot easier seeing this young roster that Detroit's put together. It should also be a lot easier for Desmond Bane to have a breakout year, since Ja Morant and his 27 points per game will be replaced with Marcus Smart and his 10 a night for the first half of the season. That's a lot of missing points in the backcourt that other guys are going to have to step up and make up for. And after signing a $207 million extension, Desmond Bane better be leading the way on that. But I do have faith, because he's a really solid young player that I love watching play. He's easily one of the best shooters in the entire league, and this will be his 4th season. So far, he's gotten better every single year, so I wouldn't be surprised for his game to take another leap, especially given the situation with the Memphis Grizzlies. Bane's one of the best second option players in the league right now, but it's going to be interesting to see if he can step up and be the Grizzlies' first option for now. As for the New York Knicks, well, RJ Barrett had an up and down season, and was way too inconsistent for a former number 3 overall pick, who still has some hope of having an all-star potential. But I think this is a make or break season for RJ, considering the fact that he's been averaging the same 25 and 3 for 3 seasons now, while his 3-point shooting numbers have only continued to get worse. Sure, some aspects of his game have improved, but if he goes into a 4th straight year putting up those same numbers again, it's not a great sign for his future, and it'll be hard to believe that he'll ever get that much better. The Knicks didn't pay him $120 million for this to be the story of his career. He's still only 23, but I need to at least see 23 points a game and 37% from 3 from this man in 2023. And the Knicks are going to need that from him too if they're going to take their team to the next level, or even entice other teams to want to trade for him. Something needs to happen with the Knicks, and I think a lot of it starts with RJ. Now with the Miami Heat, they have 2 players that really must step up their games for next year, in Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero. Sure, there's a good chance Hero doesn't even start next year with Miami, but with whatever team he's with, the dude's gotta step up. Tyler averaged 20 a game off the bench, which is why the Heat paid him $130 million. Well, then they made him a full-time starter, and he continued to average 20 points a game for an entire year. With an increased role and increased minutes, his entire game pretty much stayed the same. But I can't say it was even surprising, because look at how he plays. I just see a lot of a guy like Jordan Clarkson in him. A great go-to scorer and can do it all offensively, but then that's kind of it. If he doesn't become a better playmaker or facilitator, or at least drastically improve his scoring going into the new season, then eventually he's gonna just mainly be known as a 6-man type player like Jordan Clarkson. I mean, it's already the reason they couldn't find a single team that would want to take on his contract in these trade talks. Then as for Bam Adebayo, of course he had a great year, but we haven't seen anything new from him since he first became an all-star 3 or 4 years ago. I'm just waiting for a little bit more to be added to his game. He's not particularly great off the dribble, can't always come down the floor and facilitate the offense, and he still can't shoot. I just need him to do at least one of these things for the new season. I mean, look at how a guy like Pascal Siakam's developed. He was a rim runner, but now he takes guys off the dribble all day. So either that, take notes from Jokic and start being a better playmaker, or even learn from Brook Lopez and develop a 3-point shot. Any of these would really take his game to the next level, and I'm just desperately waiting for it to happen. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'm out.